You're now listening to All Hog Sports, covering all Arkansas Razorback sports, such as football, basketball, baseball, and much more. Now, here's your host for today's show, Sam Stimson.
Now this weekend, the final SEC series, Arkansas travels on the road to face Alabama. They play in Tuscaloosa on Thursday night, Friday night, and then Saturday during the day. Now starting it off with that Arkansas pitching. Arkansas has to get more from their starting pitchers. Last weekend at Vanderbilt, it clearly didn't get it done. Connor Nolan got off to a rough start. Hagen Smith got off to a rough start. I think Jackson Wiggins gave a good performance in what he was able to do. The main thing for Arkansas, though, also is the bats. I mean, there's a lot of times where just guys disappear. I mean, last weekend, Michael Turner didn't have the best series, and he's still a really good hitter and has been that way for Arkansas all season. But I think the main thing is you just got to get more clutch hitters in this one. Looking at, though, your pitchers for Arkansas, Friday night, Connor Nolan, 3.38 ERA. Nolan's been fantastic this season. His fastball got a lot of work over the offseason. I've been impressed with what he's been able to do. But if you look in some of his most recent outings, he's kind of struggled against Vanderbilt. He had 5 innings pitched, 5 earned runs. And then if you look at some of his other series before that, at number 19, Auburn, really good team. He had 4 innings pitched and 3 earned runs. And then when Ole Miss came to town, he had 8 innings pitched and 4 earned runs. He was fantastic. So I think the main thing for Nolan is just get those consistent starts. You know, we want to get more about our starting pitchers to be more consistent. Nolan on the season, Arkansas leader in strikeouts with 86. Now your Saturday guy will likely be Hagen Smith. Again, Smith really struggled against Vanderbilt, only lasted 2.2 innings. He had 5 earned runs given up in that one. And then the series at Auburn, he had 4 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. He's been kind of up and down this season. And, as you know, Dave Van Horn doesn't have a super long leash with his starters. Before that, Ole Miss, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. But again, that, Dave Van Horn, if you're struggling out there as a starter, he's going to pull you. And I think that's the right move, given Arkansas's bullpen with Zach Morris, Evan Taylor. A number of other guys in the bullpen include Will McIntyre. He's been fantastic, 1.96 ERA. Brady Tiger, 2.23 ERA. When he's on the top of his game, I think he's one of the best pitchers, in the SEC, but then sometimes it's not there. Tress, 2.46 ERA. Vermillion, 2.61 ERA. Evan Taylor, 3.10 ERA with 29 innings pitched. Arkansas's relievers have given them a lot of quality innings this season. Cole Ramage below 4 ERA at 3.99. The main thing I think for Arkansas is get good out of your starting pitching so you don't have to stretch that bullpen. And Arkansas has a good bullpen. I'd say out of anywhere on the team, I feel really confident in that. Arkansas, though, get quality starts out of your bullpen. And then if you're able to get your quality starts out of your bullpen, you can kind of move on looking forward to getting your your bullpen. You don't have to stretch guys out, pitch them multiple times. Again, Tiger, I think he's going to rebound this series against Alabama. And Alabama, if you look at their team, they're kind of like Vanderbilt. They're actually not even fighting for a regional. They're fighting just to get in the NCAA tournament and the SEC tournament because they cut the worst 2 teams. So Alabama does have some winning to do here if they want to make the SEC tournament, and then obviously they have a chance at the NCAA postseason if they're able to win that one. I think the main thing, though, for Arkansas is obviously that runners in scoring position that has been 13th in the conference. It's been concerning at times, and then also the 2 hit on Vanderbilt in that last game I think was really costly just because the circumstances of that one and being able to take a series at home. There's a lot of talk about Arkansas and hosting regionals, hosting super regionals. But at the end of the day, all you can do is go out there and play ball. You can't control what the NCAA selection committee is going to do. You can't change your RPI this late in the season. When you got a series at Alabama and then the SEC tournament, if Arkansas wants to host regionals, I think you got to win the series at Alabama and then at least win 1 or 2 games in the SEC tournament. Supers, right now, Arkansas, I don't know if they're projected for the Supers because of that RPI number. And Arkansas obviously scheduled a lot of in-state teams further out of conference, play between the midweeks. And I did think that put a dampening on our out-of-conference. Little Rock, UCA, UAPB, Arkansas State, and then Missouri State, which Arkansas ended up losing, actually. UCA. And Arkansas, those teams just aren't that good. And I get it, it's midweeks, but the way that the midweeks affect the RPI is way too much in college baseball. And then the way that the committee looks at the RPI is way too much as well. It's a two-thing correlation. But, Arkansas, you just got to go out there and play ball and, try to bring that regional back to Fayetteville. Looking at Arkansas's hitting, though, Michael Turner looking to get back on track after kind of a rough homestead, batting .310 on the season, 6 home runs, 35 RBIs on the year. Looking at the lineup, though, I think Turner batting second is the best move. Caden Wallace batting first for Arkansas. He's been great leadoff. 307 on the season. He gets on base, 402 on base percentage. Batting third, Robert Moore. Getting hot in that Auburn series is important. If Robert Moore can bring that type of hitting back, I think that'll be important to Arkansas' success. Despite only having a 2.38 average, he actually gets on base .374, so better numbers there. Slavens has been good for Arkansas this season, as well as getting on slugging more than anything. His OPS at 900. The main thing for Arkansas, though, is you just got to get the average up. The SEC play average has been kind of low, and hitting has struggled this year. And the thing is, it's just been up and down. There's been times where Arkansas has been able to, get really good hits out of their guys, and then other times that they haven't. And it's kind of been up and down. You're just looking for that consistency. I don't think this is a bad team, though. People always overreact. I have a lot of hope in this team. This team is literally 37-14, 17-10 in conference play. That's a good squad right there. Main thing for Arkansas, though, winning those games, especially those late ones, getting hot going in the postseason. You want to find that peak going into the final stretch of the season. Third place for average, Arkansas has been Chris Lanzelli, battles at 280, and then Braden Webb at 273. Slavens, 13 homers, Webb with 12 homers. Obviously, this is not a home run-based team as it was a lot for Arkansas last season. Arkansas really swung for the fences, and it was successful last season. Don't get me wrong. The offense was popping, and Arkansas never lost an SEC series using that offense. But the offense isn't as power-heavy, and the numbers in SEC play have decreased a little bit. But the overall stats have kind of increased, but I think that strength of schedule plays a decent role in the change between those two statistics. Now these games, Thursday night, it's a 6 p.m. game on SEC Network Plus. Friday night at 7 p.m. it's on SEC Network. You can catch that on Real TV. And then Saturday, May 21st, is a 1 p.m. game on SEC Network Plus. Now, Alabama baseball hosts a 27-24 record on the season, a 10-16 conference record. Lately, they have not been doing too good. A losing streak of 2 games. They lost the first 2 games to Auburn, and then the third game got canceled. Before that, they lost a series to LSU. Before that, swept by South Carolina, lost a series to Georgia. Lost a series to Tennessee. They did sweep Ole Miss back in April. That was their last series win, the April 8th, that weekend for Ole Miss. Now starting Thursday night for Alabama will be Garrett McMillan. He's done fantastic for the Crimson Tide this season. 77 innings pitched, a 3.51 ERA, great at striking out batters. 77 strikeouts on the year, and opponents are batting .228 against him. In his last appearance against Auburn, he was pretty good. 5.2 innings pitched, only 3 earned runs allowed against a really powerful Auburn lineup. He was credited with the loss, but I think pitching wins and losses is a really disproportional statistic because it doesn't account for everything. I mean, he only gave up 3 earned runs, and his team lost 2-3, and I think the same can be true this season for guys, Arkansas starters Smith, Wiggins, and Noland. And the thing is, for Arkansas, they've had that good bullpen this season. I think we'll rely on a lot with Taylor, McIntyre, Tigert. It's been really positive to have that this season, and even if we didn't have Peyton Pallette, man, the season would have been changed. But anyway, Thursday starter, like I said, McMillan for Alabama, right-handed pitcher. Right-handed pitcher starting Friday night too, Jacob McNary. McNary with a 4.6 ERA this season, a 5-2 record with 55 strikeouts, holding opposing batting averages to .284. He doesn't really walk a lot of guys. Only 14 walks allowed this season in those 62 innings pitched. 37 innings pitched last season, 9 walks. His command has been good for him so far. I'm not really throwing that many balls, getting guys on base, on the walk. And then their Saturday starter for the last game, left-handed pitcher Grayson Hitt, sophomore, 5.02 ERA with 57 strikeouts. If you go to the bullpen for Alabama, some other guys that they've got, you'll see a lot of is Hunter Ferrato, 30 innings pitched with a 6.3 ERA. Brock Guffey with a 3.5 ERA. Antone Jean, 3.21 ERA. Hess, 4.88 ERA. Dylan Ray, 4.33 ERA. They've been a lot of innings out of their bullpen this season, as Hitt really hasn't gone that far into some games. But, I mean, I think the main thing looking at Alabama here is if Arkansas can just get to that bullpen, I think especially on Thursday and Friday, they will be much more successful at the plate. And that just goes to any team. And the main thing is just getting quality at-bats. If Arkansas can get to the plate, shave off the hit, the pitch count, and get that low, get to the bullpen, Arkansas will be in good position. I think the main thing, though, is that runners in scoring position, clutch hitting for Arkansas this season has not been that great. And it came to hurt us in the Vanderbilt series. Now, hitters for Alabama, Tommy Seidel batting .318 on the season with 3 home runs and 22 RBIs. Andrew Picnicki, 3.18 average, 26 RBIs. Drew Williamson, he's been a power hitter for Alabama this season, .298 with 8 home runs and 42 RBIs. Looking at Alabama's conference play only batting average, they're sitting at .251, Arkansas below them at .259. But team pitching has been rough for Alabama. They're around the middle of the pack at 5.44 ERA. Arkansas, 3.88 ERA. Alabama fielding is ranked 5th lowest within the conference. The hitting is kind of the same in terms of averages and such. Home run numbers for Arkansas a little bit higher. But the main thing for, I think, the difference between the two squads is Arkansas has a lot better pitching. Now, taking a quick break here, just a reminder that this podcast is sponsored by Home Field Apparel. They're launching their Arkansas collection May 21st at 11 a.m. They've got 15 pieces of apparel, t-shirts, hoodies, crew necks, all vintage marks. You don't want to miss this. New customers, you guys can use code ALLHOGSPORTS, that's all caps, no spaces between them, ALLHOGSPORTS, at checkout at homefieldapparel.com and get 15% off your first purchase. The design and stuff is so awesome. I highly recommend checking that out. I'm super excited for that drop on Saturday. Now, my prediction for the series, I think Arkansas gets a sweep here. 3-0 of Alabama. I think the main difference is getting quality innings from your starting pitchers for Arkansas. Jackson Wiggins, Hagen Smith on Friday night, and then Thursday night, Connor Noland. If Arkansas can get quality innings from their starting pitchers, I have high confidence that we can get the sweep here. And then additionally, hitting, batting .251 in conference play, Alabama, Arkansas 249. It's kind of been even for both teams, but Arkansas, obviously will be able to hit a little bit better when they're facing